Welcome back to another edition of Zero Block 30. Today we have some stuff to talk about. I don't know what it is. I know some of it, but Kate did the sheet today. Kate, what do we got?
I did the sheet. Today we've got some quick Katie news roundups involving submarines, big trouble in the Appalachians, a heartwarming Marine veteran comedy story, and Rangers dealing with a Cheetos attack. Plus, a quick review of the presidential debate section, specifically that touched on the handling of Afghanistan. Spoiler alert, didn't love either answer, but that's okay. You know how I roll. Yeah.
Okay, you look nice today.
You know what? I woke up today, I said, I got to try. And also,
that's the bar.
Did you know,
I got to try.
This is no free ads, but Tommy John's, like the men's boxers, they are sponsoring the Yak soon, I guess. And they were like, hey, we have lady stuff too. Check it out. This top that I love. And it came with this soft
quarter zip
shorts.
Katie.
And I'm normally a t-shirt lady. And I feel like it's amazing when you don't wear a bedtime t-shirt to work. You get a lot of compliments.
You look nice today, Kate.
Thanks. I tried.
Yeah?
Oh, dang.
Speaking of Appalachia, that's one of my, and JD Vance, it's one of my favorite TikToks maybe ever. Have you ever seen the guy who dresses up like JD Vance and he'll wear like eyeliner? He puts eyeliner on, has the same kind of haircut. And it's not really funny. Like the whole thing is not like the impersonation of JD Vance, not that funny. But he makes fun of JD for the way that he says Appalachia, where he's like, I love Mountain Dew because I'm from Appalachia. Appalachia. And so I just walk around my house saying, Appalachia.
Ah, the Appalachians, yes.
And before we really get going, I need to say I have brain melt going on right now. Big time.
Can we say why?
Yeah. Why?
What happened?
Oh. I didn't know if you wanted to say it.
What happened?
You say it.
What?
Well, you're having a little bit of a tough week.
Oh, no. She's talking about something else that I'm not talking about.
Oh, okay.
She's talking about my grandma passed away.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
No, that's not what I'm talking about.
Okay,
I wasn't gonna bring that up.
Oh my God. Okay.
Thanks, Kate. Starting on a sad note. You getting sweaty?
Yep.
A little sweaty in her quarter zip.
Yep.
So we post social media vids. We've been doing this show for 8 years. I think 8 years, somewhere around that. And
wait, time out. We should really look that up because it was September of 16, so it's probably right around now that we started. We should probably do that.
Could be. This could be the 8th anniversary of the show. Look that up.
We have no idea.
It on September 11th, guys.
No, I don't think we did. Yeah, it probably wasn't a September 11th show. No, for sure not. But somewhere around that area. Anyway, so because of like the social media aspects that goes with it, we have like the Instagram, the Twitter, the TikTok, the YouTube shorts, the Facebook, everywhere we put stuff out, we put it everywhere. And I guess like the music industry are really cracking down on if bigger media connected companies use their music in videos, even if it's in like legally licensed in a TikTok video from somebody else and you post it, still get in trouble if you're with another media. So I have been going through every single tweet and Instagram video that we have ever posted.
God.
Ever posted. And
okay, I was wondering why some of those old videos were popping up, but go ahead.
Yeah, because some of them I would laugh whenever they come up, so I put them in the story or something. What a task. That's fucking stupid. Like it's the first time that I was like, dude, I need a Lance Corporal in a big, big way. I don't want to be doing this.
Was it tough to look at us and be like, oh?
Yes, there are so many different. I'm like, people listen to my stupid ass voice. Like there's editing, and then going through here has made me hate the way that my voice sounds.
Oh, you guys got great voices.
No, you got a lovely voice when you read. What a reader. What a reader you are, Kate. Absolute reader. I mean, part of being good buddies is gassing each other up because that's good for your mentals and your chickens.
I'm going to start talking like that lady who did the finger prick technology.
Oh,
Elizabeth Holmes.
Thanos.
Mad Dog. Maddox was on her board.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Oh, and one of the videos that I came across was old Mad Dog. Do you guys remember that video where he did? It was the first time I think ever that he saw filters on like Instagram or TikTok.
Oh, and he was doing the puppy dog mouth.
And he was like, well, would you look at that?
I forgot about that.
Isn't that funny? Will you look at that?
I don't remember that at all.
When you look at that, he's like he's somebody's granddad. Like he's not.
No, you're right.
Have any
he's a
kids.
warrior monk.
Any kids.
Somewhat sad, but also whatever.
Oh,
but really quickly, we're 8 years old. September 7th, chaps.
Wow.
2016, we put out our
That means we're
going
to start hiding
How many episodes
in the back of the car.
How many episodes? What was your guess? My guess is 635.
Yeah, I was going to say like 633. It's
628.
Hold on, let's
see
here.
40. Could be in the fives. Could be in fours.
628.
628. It's a lot of episodes.
I'll be darned too.
Congratulations to the listener listening to 628.
God
a little
bless.
Bit late. We're a little late because of what Kate said earlier. I was trying to make her get red and hot and sweaty, but my grandmother did pass away. So we had some other stuff that was going on. So we're a little bit late. Sorry about that, but fucking deal with it.
It was a little rude of her to die.
True. Yeah.
Could have done that later in the week.
That was weird, Kate. All right, let's get into the actual.
I am so sorry.
Let's get into the actual show. Okay. It's going to be about some ladies. What's going on with the ladies, Kate?
Ladies going down under. Shout out to the Navy's newest sub, the USS New Jersey. Gabagool. A lot of gabagool on that submarine.
Yeah,
I believe
a bunch of pork roll in the galley.
I think Snooki is actually the captain of this submarine. It's getting commissioned this weekend.
It's just an MWR boat that goes around for gym, tan, and laundry.
Yeah. Anytime somebody messes up, there's a secret note that's left out on someone was grabbing someone's. Anyway, she can stay under the water for up to 3 months, carries 120 enlisted and 15 officers.
Before we go there,
that's right for a mutiny.
I cannot stand giving gender to cars, boats, and things like that. I think it's the lamest shit in the world.
I try to switch it up a little bit.
Yeah, but it's always been she. It's never been
always
he.
Been she.
It's just so weird. Like, oh, look, she's really purring. It's a fucking car.
Where do you think that started? Like,
I don't know. Dorks.
And why did it go she and not he? And why can't it flip flop?
Well, you know what I noticed when I'm talking to my son and we're
real
out?
Muscle lady.
I always make animals boys. So I'm like, oh, look at him go. Look at the little squirrel. So I've started making squirrels girls.
Cats girls or boys?
Cats or girls.
Cats are girls. Yeah, I think
cats are girls. Dogs are boys.
I think the default for cat is girl.
On the yak the other day, we were doing which birds were boys or girls.
Oh, bald eagle.
That's a boy. Flamingo's a girl. Turkey and grouses are lesbians. Anyway,
yeah,
submarine. It can go deeper than 800 feet. And the newest feature of all, it was designed from the keel up with specific modifications for women to be on board.
What's a keel?
The keel is kind of a feeling in your heart about the submarine.
All right.
It's got more doors and washrooms for sleeping and bathing areas. They lowered some overhead valves because women tend to be a little bit shorter. So that's like something I wouldn't even think about. Lowered a couple of the valves that might need to be reached. And I bet the short kings on board are pleased as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They put steps in front of the triple high bunk beds and steps in front of the stacked laundry machines. Basically, they just made things better for people who are a little bit shorter.
I've heard that the top loader wash machines can be troublesome for tits.
Really?
Yeah.
Anyways, I didn't read the comment section.
Well, but think about it. I have heard it, and it's from my spouse. So
really,
yeah, because
when you're reaching
because she's like 5'3", and so when she's reaching over trying to grab, she has to have like a step stool,
and your boobs can get stuck.
Yeah, she's like, my boobs get smashed up in these things.
I'll be ladies. If you're listening to this, you're going to be on the USS New Jersey. Watch your tits.
Can't wait to tell Annalise that I talked about her boobs on the podcast again.
She'll probably be thrilled about that.
Yeah, at least it's not like when Clem talked about tweaking his wife's nipples in front of his in-laws.
That's true.
Good.
This doesn't mean, though, that women haven't already been aboard submarines doing awesome shit for a long time. As of this summer, 730 women are assigned to operational submarines, and now they can reach the top bunk a little better. That's all this means. I didn't read the comment section, but off the top of my head, here it is. Do they got extra counter space on there so they can make us sandwiches?
What kind of sandwich?
Knuckle sandwich, if you don't agree with me.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go submarine sandwich.
Oh, submarine sandwich. Fuck, that would have been easy.
Yeah.
Do they got extra torpedoes on there for when the sharks attack the boat when they're all in their periods?
Kate's having a not better day.
Wait until Russia hears we got ticks on our submarines. We're done for.
Lesbian turkeys.
Anyways, that's the comment. So yeah, lesbian
I'm
turkeys.
pretty sure, actually, though,
out the windows.
I'm pretty sure there's a whole sect of the Russian military that has like a ton of unreal, like badass women who are, from Siberia and whatnot. So I don't know that Russia would be too upset.
They probably have a submarine of Miss Trunchbulls.
Yeah,
somewhere
that's what I'm saying.
Below the Atlantic right now as we speak. Just push and puss. Anyway, I think that's awesome. I think it's cool. It's about time. And again, Short Kings rejoice because it's going to be easier for you too.
Yeah, I don't know why it's designed for women instead of it's designed for people that aren't 5'10" to 6'2".
And just
right, and also
doors for changing areas.
Wouldn't submarines by default already have been built for short people on the shorter side? I would think. I don't know. I've never been on one.
I've been on that Nazi submarine down in South Chicago a lot now because my son's obsessed with it. And we captured it, by the way, so it's technically ours now. So it's not a Nazi.
Yeah, you gotta stop referring to that as a Nazi.
Me and my son love that Nazi submarine. But I will tell you, there's a lot of high.
I'm gonna clip that
in some of the hallways. I should bring my arm down. I'm trying to reach for a valve.
You guys ever seen the movie Crimson Tide with Denzel and Gene Hackman?
Yeah,
great movie. The thing that to me that seemed like a little unrealistic in that movie,
University of
I
Alabama?
thought that was going to be the original woman submarine's name.
Yeah,
right.
But it was the USS Alabama. Very good. But the part of the movie where he's just like going for a jog in the morning, can you really just be running around subs? That seemed unrealistic to me.
I think that smashes your shins.
Yeah.
Like I know I hadn't spent a lot of time on submarines, only gone on like a couple with dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And each time I did it, there's like I forget the passageways. They all have like big step over. How would you would have
bloopers?
Yeah, and everything's gray in there.
Yeah, no, it's tough. I would imagine though you go stir crazy enough that you'd run back and forth in 5 feet if you wanted to, because they can be under the water for up to 3 months at a time without surfacing.
But I do like whenever the submarines, whenever they're getting like what is it called? Whenever you get your job when you're leaving one of the academies, what is that called? Cons? When you find out what your branch day,
your branch night, branch night, yeah.
So when they have it, I don't know if that's what the Navy calls it or not, but they're like, I'm going submarine, simper under. Or something like that. Simper underway. Something like that.
Cute.
Yeah.
Well, now they're doing it with more style. Ladies, go get it.
Good job, ladies.
All right. Up next, the Kentucky highway shooter. I'm sure everybody has seen this story now. Authorities in Kentucky are still searching. Today is day 5 of a manhunt for the suspect. Now, I'm sure as I'm saying this, they have found him or something, because that's the way the show works. But day 5 of a manhunt for the suspect accused of firing an AR-15 at motorists along Highway 75 in the southeast corner of the state of Kentucky. Joseph A. Couch.
Shout out JD Vance.
Joseph A. Couch, age 32, struck 12 cars and wounded 5 people. It's amazing that nobody was killed. It's crazy. On Saturday, after texting his baby mom, I'm going to kill a lot of people. Well, try at least. I don't know if they were fighting or whatever, because then after that, he said he was also going to off himself. He's going to go kill a bunch of people off the highway. Apparently, he was on a cliff doing it, and then he was going to off himself somewhere. He is nowhere to be found. Why can't they find him? Police are dealing with an armed man hiding among 708,000 acres of federally owned land in the boonies of the Appalachian Mountains. This occurred in like one of the most out there spots that it could possibly happen. The schools are still closed. Like people are on edge. The towns are dead right now. But what do you think was going through my mind on repeat as I read this story, guys?
Please don't be a veteran.
I hope he's not a veteran. I hope he's not a veteran. I hope he's not a veteran.
Guess what?
Please. He's not.
He is. He is. Survey says he is a veteran. Authorities say Couch was in the Army Reserve from 2013 to 2019 as a combat engineer. And I was like, combat engineer is one of the more revered MOSs, or I always thought they were kind of more badass.
Yeah.
Drive a bulldozer. That's cool as hell. Anyways, he was.
You know, your son likes them.
I like how Kate completely just is like an entire MOS. Bulldozers.
Yeah, bulldozers.
That is one of the things they do. What did they use
the ordnance disposal and all that stuff? And
you can build a bridge in 2 seconds. It's crazy.
True.
That's the engineers.
Yeah, a combat engineer. He was a private when he left, though. So again, in the reserve from 2013 to 2019, left as a private. So I'm guessing some issues there, and he had no deployments. They also specified, they're like, this guy's military experience, because people were like, oh, he's a veteran. He's going to be able to hide in the woods forever. Honey, you'd be shocked at how many of us would die on night one.
Oh, yeah.
We would not be making it long.
Yep.
Okay.
Snapping their chem lights, putting it up, rolling around in a circle,
smoking openly,
going by a main road.
Yeah, no,
trying to get found,
pissing all over the place. We would not last. Plus, there's black bears, venomous snakes. Like, we're talking out there.
Whisker do, whisker don't.
With or without the screw. It's cold at night there. Like, forget it. I'm just walking out saying, never mind, come get me. Anyways, yeah, he's a veteran. So that's my news roundup on that.
It's funny to me that like the public just has this perception of veterans that we're all just the most badass, everything they've ever seen in every movie. Every single veteran is that way, and we can stop anything and survive.
Every time
anything.
I get a shot at the VA, I have to hum "Build Me Up, Buttercup." I'm a pussy. All right, up next, Comedy Connection. I thought this was a cute little story. This was brought to my attention by Joshua Scovland at Task and Purpose. Hey, we know those guys. Follow me here.
Okay.
Former Marine Scout sniper Justin Governale. He's been doing stand-up comedy now for about 4 years. And have you guys heard of the show Kill Tony? I feel like you have to be under a rock if you haven't heard of it. Basically, super popular stand-up show / podcast.
I mean, they host it at Madison Square Garden now.
Yeah, it's a big fucking deal.
I didn't know that part, but I knew the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes place, I think it's every Monday night. And basically, you can show up to this show, you put your name in a hat, and say you have been doing comedy forever. You can put your name in this hat, or you've never touched a mic in your life. You can still put your name in this hat. And if your name gets pulled, you get to go up on stage and you have 60 seconds to, there's this revolving panel. There's some regulars, but a revolving panel of like big name comedians and musicians.
Like Shane Gillis and Joe Rogan will be there. And like Mark Naman.
Yeah. All kinds of big Norman. I fucked his name up and I'll not relive down. Anyways, you get to go for 60 seconds and try to impress them. And even if maybe they hate you, but you're really goofy. So then after those 60 seconds, they'll ask you questions about your life and try and pluck all kinds of like interesting information out of you. And those clips, even if you bomb sometimes, can go mega viral and do really well for you. So this former Marine Scout sniper, Justin Governale, I think he had been driving from where? I think I put it at the bottom. He had been driving from San Antonio to Austin every single show for more than a year to put his name in that hat, and his name never got called.
Wow.
Well, finally, last weekend, his name got called. So he goes up on stage. He gets 60 seconds. He does really well. He talks about Marine Corps stuff, about the Marines turning him gay. Yeah. Basically, which it'll do that. It'll certainly do that.
No one's gayer than the United States Marines.
But this woman was watching. Morgan Snyder was her name because she just happened to be a fan of Kill Tony, and she's watching and she hears him say that he is a former Marine Scout sniper. And she's like, oh man, my brother, Lance Corporal Sergio Snyder, he passed away in 2022 from an undiagnosed heart condition, but he was also a Scout sniper. So when she heard Governale say that he was a Scout sniper, she DM'd him hoping that they knew each other. He said no. He responded to her. But then he went on to, there's like Scout Sniper Facebook pages and blah, blah. And he was like, does anybody know Lance Corporal Sergio Snyder? And a lot of guys responded and were like, oh my God, I did know him. We were buddies. I had no idea he passed away. I guess his family was saying he kind of withdrew a little bit after he got out of the service. And he never talked about his time in service with him or anything like that. So all these people, all these Scout Sniper Marines started messaging his family with amazing stories and really funny stories and lighthearted stories to give them a picture of his time in service and who he was as a Marine. And it was all because Governale could have just said, sorry, no, I don't know him. But he went the extra mile. And he wrote a thing about that. He said, though it's a cool story, it was my obligation to a brother from the same community, even if we've never met. Never above you, never below you, always beside you. That he did that. And I just thought that was awesome. Also, Governale's been on 2 seasons of Naked and Afraid. This guy rules. Maybe we'll have to
get
him
on the show. Yeah, you said you were talking with him earlier.
Yeah, Semper Fi to this gentleman because it just seems like a really good dude. His Instagram is
I don't know if I've ever heard you put out a genuine Semper Fi like that.
Yeah, that was Rob.
That was Katie motivated.
I'll do it respectfully to the older vets in the hats at the VA. Semper Fi. But then I wonder if it disappoints them that I'm a lady saying it.
Probably.
He's never filed the Marine
You're
Corps
the reason,
these days.
You're the reason why they're getting these
not
newfangled
my
submarines.
Corps.
Yeah. These lady submarines.
Now we
with
got
their lady
woke
parts
submarines.
all over them. Big gash in that submarine. All the water's gonna come in.
You think North Korea have lady submarines?
No, absolutely not. Anyways, his handle is at Justin Governale, Governale. Give him a follow. His comedy's really funny, and maybe we'll have him on the show. But I thought that was a really cool story and cool for his sister. I know when like people pass away, sorry, not too soon, but like
Jesus,
it feels good to hear stories about their it just is awesome, especially years later. To know that people are I don't know. I just think that's super cool. So
no,
Zero Block 30 is sponsored by BetterHelp. Kids are always learning and growing, but as adults, sometimes we lose that curiosity. What's something that you like to learn? Gardening, a new language, or maybe how to finally beat your best friend in bowling.
Gardening. I'm on a kick.
Therapy. Yeah.
Got
the weeds going still?
Yeah.
They're natural flowers, right? They're not weeds.
I guess I Googled it. No, technically they're weeds. That's okay.
She's going to keep them going strong.
But thanks to BetterHelp, I look at them as flowers.
That's right. Half empty, half full. Katie, half full, is here, and she's here to stay. I'm glad about that you have that little gardening thing that you're doing now.
Yeah, I love the bees.
Your own little Zen garden.
Yeah, having little hobbies for your mentals and your chickens is the way to go.
It's imperative.
I saw Ohio Tate, one of the guys here in the Chicago office. He was riding his bike whenever I was coming into work today. And I saw how he was sitting on his bicycle, and I had to dad him whenever we got into the office. I was like, look, I don't want to dad you on this, but I'm concerned for your knees for the way that you're riding this bike.
The seat wasn't high enough.
Seat was way too low.
Well, it's awkward too, because he has one of those tall bikes.
Yeah.
It's like 10 feet up in the air on this big metal frame.
And so he's like,
goofy.
it looks like he was like 4 years old riding around on his bike. And I was like, come here, bud, putting him underneath my arm. I was like, we need to move this seat up. And sometimes you just need your mental seat lifted a little bit to help you up. And our good friends at BetterHelp are going to do that. If you've ever thought about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. I can't breathe. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists for at any time for no additional charge. Rediscover your curiosity with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/0 today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/0. All right, what do we got next?
All right, this is a story. You know me, Katie, military tie-in. If I tell a story on here, it's got to tie in. This is a story about the Rangers. Ever heard of them, Cons?
New York hockey team.
That's right.
That's right.
Ice hockey.
Or what's it?
Or the Central Park Rangers.
The first Rangers you think of are
Central Park Rangers from the movie Elf.
Right, Central Park Rangers, then the hockey team, and then the National Park Rangers. Oh, Power Rangers. You're right. And then the National Park Rangers.
Yeah, excuse me, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Mighty Morphin. Anyways, I consider our park ranger brothers and sisters in the National Park Service just as much ranger as Army Rangers, and I'm sure the Army Rangers would agree. Similar
Totally. They
lives.
wouldn't be irrational about that at all.
Also,
no, they would love that. Tom Cotton would really take it well.
Yeah. Another military tie-in is picking up trash not a huge part of military service?
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah.
Like,
get online right damn now. Yeah.
God forbid you were walking by an HQ as a Lance Corporal and you walked by some trash and a sergeant major was looking out the window and saw you walk by the trash and not pick it up. And you're about
standing there like
you're
Squidward looking
about
out
to get chased down and knife-handed real hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, National Park Rangers. I used to want to be one more than anything.
You'd be the best park ranger that
you
ever
really
park
would.
ranger.
Honestly, you might have missed your calling.
Guys,
it's if anybody from the Park Service, I would hate to lose Kate. That I honest to God believe that could be your calling in life.
I swear to God, like I don't want to lose my job. I love Barstool more than anything. If the Park Service is like, come here, bitch, I'd have a tough time.
Yeah, because it's it's exactly
I love pointing shit out to people.
Kind of.
You're lucky. Like, look at that bird. Look at that mountain. Look at
Chaps, remember that stupid art wall she made us go to, like way out of the way in Philadelphia?
Yeah, that was bad.
Like,
I applied to be a Philly park ranger at John Hines Wildlife and at Independence Hall. I applied to be a park ranger down in the swamps of like Louisiana. I applied to be a park ranger by the Cumberland Gap area.
That's right. That is what it's called.
Yeah. Anyway.
But like we made fun of her for the ice thing or the glass thing. But I told her legit. Like when we would drive around and we would go by the bridges that like the Army Corps of Engineers made in New York, I was like, that's some good information. When we're on our way up to camp, Kate's giving me step by step, mile by mile.
We passed the world's largest potato masher.
Yeah, we did.
And
Past
I knew
the big
about
sign.
it.
She knew about it, told me about it. She even said it's coming up here on the left.
I did, and I have gentle hand motions. Yes, park ranger is like my calling in life. Like anyways.
You know what also you be good at? Like once your kids are out of the house, I could see you thriving and really enjoying being one of the lookout people.
For a drug dealer?
No, that they have like the big tall forts that are above the canopies of the trees that you look to see forest fire.
Oh, absolutely.
You would be so good at that.
My head is so far up my own ass. I'd be fine by myself.
You
forever.
like give you a Wi-Fi connection. You could walk away with some really deep dive TikToks.
Yep.
I think you would enjoy the shit out of that.
Wait, but Kate, now I'm curious. What is the application to become a park ranger like? I'd imagine it's different for every national park or whatever park it is. But in general, what is it like?
A long online, like fill out the million forms at the same time, even though you're applying for the same job essentially, and send in your resume. But I never made it past the first round of any of them. So
that's weird. I would think you would.
I had military points too. Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
It's really competitive because so many people.
I didn't know it was
so many people do.
It's like
big time.
It's like one of the most sought after.
And you don't even get paid that much. Like you don't get paid much, but it's just like a passion project for people.
And some of them get to live in like cool little like wooden houses in the middle of the park. Oh, that's the dream. Anyways,
Kate's not a paycheck chaser, so I don't think that.
No, definitely not.
No, which is almost troubling. I have 2 kids. Maybe I should.
As long as there's no national park in Chicago.
There are. Oh, every city's.
I know, but you couldn't afford to live here with daycare.
No, you're right. No, I'd be fucked. Anyways, plain water is the only thing that visitors are allowed to consume inside this massive, the largest cavern in the United States, Carlsbad Cavern National Park in New Mexico. Any of you ever been?
No, but I'm looking it up right now.
It is this massive system of caves. The largest cave in there that you can traverse is over 100 miles long.
Wow.
100 miles long. Okay.
This is
America's wild, dude. There's so much shit that you don't even know about in America.
Yes. Yeah. And this cave, the ecology inside of it is so fragile that one little crumb could fuck shit up like big time. So they screen people on the way in. You can only have plain water, nothing else. And this park sees over about 500,000 people a year. So imagine a couple park rangers trying to keep 500,000 people on the straight and narrow. I've seen people pop up and sit on the names of the September 11th memorial to open a sandwich. Like I've seen tourists do that shit. So imagine trying to keep at a way less sacred spot people from being shitheads. Anyway, they've done a pretty good job of it, except what happened this week? Somebody dropped an open bag of Cheetos into the water of Carlsbad Caverns. Okay, people were fucking aghast. This happened on Friday, and it could have had a huge impact on the cave's ecosystem. At the scale of human perspective, a spilled snack bag may seem trivial, but to the life of the cave, it could be world-changing. The processed corn, softened by the humidity of the cave, formed the perfect environment to host microbial life and fungi. And guess what that means? Guess who loves to nibble on a little microbial life?
Fucking cave
crickets. Yep.
I knew it.
Dude, cave crickets.
I knew it.
Cave crickets, mites, spiders, and flies. They soon organize into a temporary food web. And then guess what? They're pooping and scooping all over the place.
Fucking poop.
They're dispersing nutrients then to the surrounding cave and formations.
Probably pee too.
Then what happens? Mold spread higher up to nearby surfaces. The mold's fruit, they die, they stink. Guess who smells it? More fucking cave crickets, man. And then next thing you know, the whole ecology of the cave is completely fucked, all because one dumb tourist dropped an open bag of Cheetos.
Be the one.
They had to like Homer Simpson in the nuclear suit picking up the ore thing, go in there and scoop up the Cheetos. It was almost like the Valdez oil spill. They had to put like one of those little nets around the Cheetos thing and scoop up all the oil off it and all that.
Like when
shit.
Zach and Slater are taking care of that duck.
Exactly. Yeah. So anyway, Becky. It was a big deal.
Shout out Becky.
And they had to issue a reminder. Carlsbad Caverns is not a fucking trash can, you dumb fuckers. They said on Facebook,
you know what though? I love
to me. I couldn't believe they said that.
That there are people though. They're known to have a.
And then they posted a cock. Why?
These park rangers are wild.
I know.
You'd be really good at it.
Yep.
Hey, duty balls.
Yeah.
Hey, they're fucking duty balls.
I'm sorry, but I love that there's people that take it as seriously as they do.
They should.
Yeah.
I sent a picture in the chat. That place looks fake.
I bet they're going to be blown away when we tag them on a clip.
Oh, yeah. So this cave, though.
What?
Oh, yeah. Carlsbad Cavern Park Rangers.
Huge barstool.
We did not have our cocks out in that post about the Cheetos. I just like to clarify. I was looking, they're like super sacred about it now, but I was looking at pictures of Carlsbad Cavern tourism in the 50s, and they actually had like a whole ass cafeteria down in the cave with like deep fryers and shit. So maybe it's not as fragile.
Yeah.
Oh, now cave Twitter's gonna come at me.
Oh, big time.
Great.
Big time.
Forget it.
Stalagmites. Stalactites?
A bitch stalagmite.
Is it? All right, what else we got?
Stalactite. Debate chat.
Yeah.
We were having a good episode. Click, 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 click. Now we're going downhill. All right, the debates for the other night. We got to talk about it a little bit, I guess. The thing I really wanted them to talk about, which was giving me free childcare. Wouldn't that be sick? They didn't, but they did ask about Afghanistan, kind of much to my surprise, I suppose. So how do you pronounce Muir? Muir? M-U-I-R? David.
Oh, Muir. Yeah.
Muir.
I'm going to call him David Muir.
Okay.
This should be fun. David Muir said, I want to turn to Afghanistan. Do you believe, he's asking the Vice President Harris, do you believe you bear any responsibility in the way the withdrawal played out? And can I tell you what I was hoping to hear?
Yes.
Just what my little hopes got up for a little second. I was like, maybe this could be the moment that I've been bitching about for episode after episode on here. Maybe somebody is going to have the balls / flaps to take a little accountability.
Yep.
And I know that the vice president doesn't have much to do on either side of like foreign like they're kind of a fluff job. Am I right?
That's my favorite part of this whole debate is everybody knows, like, if you follow politics at all, you know, two things are true. The president does not control the prices of gas. And two, the vice president doesn't do anything outside the direction of the president. They just don't have, it's the least defined job in the Constitution.
But I will say in during a presidential debate, you know that you are representing your party. And so you should answer kind of for your party a little bit. So what I wanted to hear was like,
and she's in a bad spot there, like with asking questions about how Joe handled it, because she still is the vice president, still has that role. So she can't go out and be like, well, Joe didn't know what the fuck he was doing here. Like, you can't do that when you're the current vice president. Maybe it's something she could do after, but you kind of got your hands tied. You either be honest or you do the right by your current position.
That's what the answer ultimately we heard is the former, what you were saying. She was really just supporting Biden,
which I think was a mistake and not what I wanted to hear. What I would have loved to hear was her say something like, you know, I have seriously reviewed and reflected on the missteps of this administration. Here's a few key things that I would have done differently. XYZ, like give a few examples, like holding third-party contractors accountable, keeping promises to our third country nationals, you know, intel overhaul, like how on earth did they not see the Taliban taking over as fast as they did?
Amount of people that were
corporal, like there's a million things that she could have said and like pointed out to like let it be known, like I see what people are angry and upset about, and these are valid. Like validate the anger and the frustration and heartbreak, the moral, physical, mental injuries of our veterans, and this is a result of failures of every administration who kicked the can down the road, including ours. And I will make sure as vice president that we're going to put measures in place, maybe give a couple examples. I'm going to form a committee, blah, blah, to make sure it never happens again. Like that would be fucking sick. Instead, that's not what we got. It got her supporting Biden's decisions, kind of bragging about, she kind of flipped it and was like, we actually accomplished something like super incredible. Taxpayers aren't paying $300 million a day for an endless war. And then this, she said, and my ears picked up on it right away because I just hated the wording of it. As of today, there is not one member of the U.S. military who is in active duty in a combat zone in any war zone around the world. The first time this century.
That's a lie.
That's a lie.
That's just not true. Yeah,
that's just not true.
I said it like I was watching with some friends, and I was like, "That's egregious."
And to any troops watching that in those areas, you're like, oh.
You're sitting there watching it on AFE's fucking AFN. Like,
wait, what? I've been away from my family for 4 months.
I'm currently away. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So
you could say that same type of thing and honest, be like, we're at the lowest levels of any combat troop of any time in the last 25
that would be true.
years. And that would be 1,000% true. There is ways to say you accomplish things like militarily while also acknowledging that the withdrawal was a fucking disaster.
I just would have loved, she could have said the thing she said, but still also acknowledged that it was a disaster and that we have real valid rage about how it all
rightfully so. I mean, it's just such a radioactive thing as a politician that on the surface, I think they all think to themselves, I don't want my name attached to that in any way, shape, or form. I got to distance myself.
Which who would?
Meanwhile,
but Kate,
we're desperate for it. If they went the other way, like what you're saying, they would probably be lauded for it.
And I don't think so.
I don't know.
I think that if she said if she said something that even alluded to some personal responsibility, that would instantly be on a hit ad without a doubt. It would be her acknowledging the fact that her actions,
but I think
as the vice president, which don't have much, resulted in the deaths of troops.
But then
she ain't doing that.
They could.
No one would.
But I guess that gets us nowhere. And I think owning part of it and having a plan to make sure it doesn't happen again, or at least like laying out a couple of plot points. And then what she did, she turned it on Trump. He negotiated directly with the Taliban, blah, blah, blah.
And Trump calling the Taliban leader Abdul.
Well, we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, and then saying, pointing at Trump saying he, invited the Taliban to come to Camp David of all places, blah, blah, blah. And that was just like, it just wasn't what I wanted to hear. I knew I wasn't going to hear it, but I just still had this little kernel of hope that maybe it wouldn't just be blame the other guy, point out the great things we did, blame the other guy, and not really answer the question. So that sucked. Then Trump goes, he says, so if you take a look at that period of time, because she pointed out the deal that he made. So he starts off with that. If you take a look at that period of time, the Taliban was killing our soldiers, a lot of them with snipers. A former Wall Street Journal reporter, formerly a while back, looked into that data. The Taliban wasn't using snipers very often at all. They were more of IED guys and other things. Anyways, I got involved with the Taliban because the Taliban was doing the killing, blah, 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 blah. They don't bother he talks about dealing with this guy, the head of the Taliban, Abdul. The head of the Taliban since 2016 has been a cleric named Hibatullah Abzabazabza. One of his negotiators here in the U.S. was Abdul, but that's not. But he goes on and on about his relationship with Abdul and how he showed Abdul a picture of his house and was like, basically like, I'm going to kill you if we blah, blah. And again, Abdul, not the leader of the Taliban, like not who he thinks he's talking about. And then he goes on to say that there was a stretch of 18 months where under Trump administration, nobody was killed. There was one such stretch where no U.S. service members were killed in combat, but it was split equally between Trump and Biden's administration. Mm-hmm. Like it was right in between. They both had the same amount of time.
From March 2020 to August of 2021.
Then he talks about the Pompeo agreement and all this stuff, but like neither one took account. It was just pointing the blame and saying what they did. And I guess I'm rambling, but I just wanted to, I just really wanted like a little bit of accountability there.
Yeah, I don't think we're ever going to get that. And no. I definitely don't think you're going to get it in a presidential campaign debate.
I know. I guess my ears pricked up and I thought,
maybe.
And honestly, I think it makes sense too, because I don't think that in a presidential debate, you are not debating for the purpose of people who are by and large educated on the issues. Like, I think if you're a very educated voter, like if you, a 90-second or 90-minute debate, if you know the issues and you follow politics closely and you're swayed by a 90-minute debate, you're an idiot. Like, I really, truly believe you're an idiot because 90 minutes is nothing. But if you're one of these people that watches and you cursory look at politics and you like want to go in and make a decision in the last, I feel like it's totally different in that scenario where you're not going to admit wrongdoing because that might be the first time that person's ever heard of that issue that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Good point. That's true.
Yeah. They really just kind of expound on all their talking points that they've been spouting on both sides for the last, month, 2 months, whatever. And really hear anything new from either of them. So, and it's so funny to me how they take the most ridiculous question and they use that as their jumping off point for whatever talking point they want to make next. Like, oh, well, President Trump, you were born in the month of March. I have no idea when he was born. Oh, I'm glad you said that, because when I think of Kamala Harris, and it's like, what? Like, how did you get talking about that? You were asked about X and you're talking about beef jerky. What's going on here? It's not a debate. It's just a highlight reel of what you want to talk about and figuring out where you're going to cram in those talking points that make the most sense, even when they don't.
Yeah. It was a weird debate.
It was weird.
It was weird. And I thought it was really weird when people were like, ABC is correcting him and not her. The only two things that ABC corrected on was the fact that they're executing babies after they were born. I feel like that's a pretty big one.
Yeah.
And people eating their dogs. Or like migrants eating people's dogs and cats. That was the only real corrections that were made.
Yeah.
Like that.
I think what people were more upset with probably is just how much they were speaking after he was giving answers. It didn't really matter what they were saying and pushing back on. It just didn't seem like they were making those clarifications after her answers from what I could gather.
Let him talk 9 minutes longer than she did.
I don't know how much they let him, and he just kind of overpowered the mic.
Well, they had the mics. They
turned to keep talking.
They turned.
Yeah, but they unmuted him. They unmuted him, and all you had to do was just like refuse to stop talking, and eventually they would unmute him.
And she didn't do that. Like, and he did it, and they turned his mics on, and then they like turned hers off and didn't turn it back on whenever she tried to do the same thing.
Yeah,
I don't get it, man. Like, I feel like no matter what, it's gonna be like, it's unfair for me.
You know what's funny?
Everything's unfair.
I'm listening. I watched the whole thing, and I'm listening, and I follow people on social media on every end of the spectrum: extreme right, extreme left, center right, center left, so I can get a kind of a good cross section of what people are thinking. And people like had their minds made up going in. So no matter what was said on either side, I could have told you what people's talking points were
without a doubt,
and which parts of the debate they were going to be pumped about.
Harris blew that answer, and right underneath it was like Harris nailed that answer.
Yeah.
It's like about the same. It's like there's no.
And I also thought like they gave her the questions. Oh man, they really snuck it up on her. Have it immigration, economy, the last election in Afghanistan. Those were the questions. Man, really gave her some scoop. Who the fuck didn't know what those questions are going to be? They weren't even complicated. Like it was like very cursory.
Yeah, I mean, there's entire teams and companies dedicated to debate prep and these both sides and all politicians. If you have enough money, you're going to have massive teams helping you prepare.
I do wish they would just add a fun little element where the country could come together.
Do a Mount Rushmore.
Maybe a Mount Rushmore of snacks. We get to hear about their snacks. We get to hear maybe a question, something you two have in common. You both love butter on your nipples, like something sassy, something that warms the heart. Oh.
I don't know. I left watching it. And
I don't know. I've never put butter on my nipples.
That's not what I've heard. That's not the rumor that's going around. I tell you that.
I don't like the way it smells on skin.
Irish butter.
Carrie?
But I'm sorry.
Yeah,
did either of you come out of watching that and think anything differently about either of them?
No.
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 And I don't think anybody did. I don't know how you possibly could.
I will say this. I would never want to be in a debate because I just be like, I'm
and
one of
people
those
are like,
who can't think in the moment.
They're nervous. No shit.
Yeah, no
dude.
shit.
You're talking in front of 300 million. I mean, around the globe, probably concurrent eyes, probably 300 million. Like in that moment, and it's the most important speech or most important event of your life for Harris up until that point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She should have done something more memorable. She should have farted up there.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Big miss.
Or the only thing that I would have wished that she would have done, because we like some of my friends, we were talking about it. They're like, oh, we wish there was more punchy little anecdotes that would go viral on social. I think it's smart of her to not do that. I do, however, wish whenever he was like, and they're eating the dogs and cats and like the pets, and I wish he would have just went, Well, that was weird.
Yeah. Okay.
That was fucking
All
weird.
right, everybody.
Anyways, if she would have hit Trump with the anyways, and like
anyway, here's Wonderwall.
Yeah, that would have been unbelievable. Anyways,
big miss.
Yeah.
Listen, if we're ever gonna see politicians in our lifetime go back to relative normalcy, they need to get normal people in there advising them, because they just have politicians advising them, and they're running the same playbook they've been running for the last 2-3 decades. And I think it's so transparent, and you're not going to sway people like that.
I don't think you're going to have quality candidates nearly as much as you did in the past. One, because I believe that, like, if you are somebody who wanted to run for president in the past, that is about as famous as you possibly can get. Yes. Especially in the past. Like, you didn't have social media accounts. You didn't have so many avenues of fame and power, essentially power. You have so many avenues for that now.
Yeah.
Why in the world, especially somebody our age, imagine somebody 35 to 45, 35 to 50, really, I guess, growing up, you have Facebook, MySpace, Twitter, Snapchat, you have all those different forms of media. They are going to be going through, and JD Vance is like a square. So when somebody that was cool growing up, or that was a little bit more edgy than somebody like JD Vance, imagine going through, like, I get every now and then somebody be like, you should run for office. Imagine what would be said about me if I ran for office. The tweets that would be out there, the videos that would be out there.
I don't know, but we've had politicians who have written Bigfoot erotica.
True.
Maybe the world's ready.
Shout out Mark Wayne, right?
I don't even think it's so much about that. It's like, do you want to just dive into the cesspool that is our current political landscape? And it's like, I don't even want to deal with those people.
Nothing's off limits. Like, kids aren't off limits. Everything's under the like, it's crazy.
So, I do think serving in office is a great way to give back to the country. But right now in this political landscape, I think it's more of a headache than it's worth. So you're right. I think there's a ton of people qualified who would absolutely get voted in, who are just avoiding running for any office at any level, down to mayor of small town USA, because they just don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
Crazy. All right, let's move on to some save rounds and alibis. Cons, we'll start with you.
We lost James Earl Jones this week. I didn't realize he was a veteran.
Yes, he was.
It's a shame. Part of some really obviously iconic roles in Hollywood. And one more fun thing, and then I have a serious thing. Kate, I saw you're doing the Macaulay Culkin experience this winter with your children.
Did you get in on that?
Yes,
how?
I did. What do you mean how? How would I not?
Did you get tickets?
Yes, I did.
Were they for sale?
Yes, pal.
Oh, and are they still available?
Promo code Kevin to get in early. Yes, all caps.
Oh, shit.
Kevin. Promo code Kevin.
Okay.
But here's the thing. I saw there was a show in Rosemont, Illinois. I said, I've never heard of that. Illinois is a big state. It's probably in the middle of effing nowhere. He's also going to be in Indianapolis. I got family there. Why don't I go to that one instead? Turns out, Rosemont, Illinois.
About 25 minutes from your house.
Yep. Anyway, so I got the Indianapolis
tickets. On the way to the airport.
It's by O'Hare.
Yeah.
I'll be darn tootin'.
Yep.
Anyways, and that's the Chicago one. Like, that would have been electric too, because that's like where
right by
Home
the
Alone
old neck of the
is,
woods.
by the Home Alone house. Fuck.
So
I'm excited.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. When I was in Chicago a couple months ago, we did a tour. And when I say we did a tour, Alex just like found out where all these houses were, and we got in early and drove around. But we saw the Home Alone house, 16 Candles house, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles house, and the Uncle Buck house. And you can knock them all out in like an hour. They're all relatively close to one another. And the drive in between the different homes, it's actually really pretty. It's really nice neighborhoods.
I'm gonna have her send me that. I'm gonna have her send me that trip.
Yes,
do that.
I will.
One of them's right by where I am.
Well, I'm excited.
River Forest.
Oh, I am going with my two of my girlfriend cousins who I'm super close with, who live in Indianapolis. It's on a Thursday night, so I'm being real bad. I'm taking off work Friday.
What
as soon as it's done on Thursday, December 5th. But we're going out to dinner first, and we're dressing up. We're wearing Home Alone costumes.
What are you gonna wear?
I think I'm gonna be Buzz, your girlfriend. I'm gonna have a little picture frame, and I'm gonna have fake braces and the pink sweater. And
you know who I wish you'd have been? I know it's New York, but the Bird Lady.
I know. I thought about that. You can't do New York. He's only doing. But anyway, yeah, Macaulay Culkin is showing. You sit and watch Home Alone with him, and then you talk about the '90s with him for an hour.
That's amazing. That's an amazing.
To me, it's like that and Jurassic Park are two of the most formative movies of my childhood. I watched Home Alone on VHS all year long as a kid, and it's like
Home Alone 2 is in my top 5 favorite movies.
It's the best. It's the best. Oh, well, serious. Well, it's just the first.
It's one of the only comedies that I will laugh every time. When Marv gets hit in the face with the bricks.
Oh, dude, nothing better. Electrocuted.
Oh my God, I lose
nothing
it.
better.
Oh, maybe I'll be a tarantula.
That could work.
So many good costumes. But yes, Cons, I'll let you know how it goes. I think he'll be on the East Coast too, so you should look and see.
I definitely will.
Surprised it took him this long to cash in on that.
Tickets were expensive as fuck.
Oh, I bet. How much?
I said to my cousins, I'm like, I'll get the tickets.
$150?
I was like, they won't be more than $35. I don't want to talk about it.
No, say it.
Wow.
And we're up in the balcony.
How much?
Not even...
2?
Tickets were like $96
a
person.
Okay. That's not bad.
Oh, okay. Almost $300 on fucking plus the Ticketmaster charges. I wanted to use Game Time.
Why didn't they talk about that at the debates?
Yeah, seriously.
Should have been asked.
Talk about the things people care about.
Mm-hmm.
Home Alone.
Culkin tickets.
Fuck.
Can you imagine making a presidential endorsement that made like international news like Taylor Swift did?
Yeah, but you know what? Our colleague Kelly Keeks made a great point. Like, and I agree with her. If you're waiting to figure out who you're going to vote for based on any celebrity, you're brain dead. You're absolutely brain dead. Taylor Swift exists in a world that is not known to you or I. Who is in the presidency in the White House matters not to her. She has hundreds of millions of dollars. She can't go to the grocery store. She can't go get ice cream. She doesn't live a normal existence. Who is in office doesn't matter. Now, what I will say these people do is they have a platform to encourage people to vote, to get educated on issues that matter to them. I think that's a great way to use that platform. But if you're saying I'm voting for Kamala Harris because Taylor Swift is voting for Kamala Harris, we lost you. And then unfortunately, that is a large portion of this country, I think.
Well, I know that most of the listeners know that I've basically been undecided throughout this process.
Yeah,
But now that Taylor, I mean, I'm a huge folklore head.
Oh, yeah.
So if that's what it takes. And someone tells you that also, all right. Can I say what my favorite? Let's do real quick a round robin. Your favorite Taylor Swift song?
Because my son likes to dance around the living room to it. Shake It Off.
Shake It Off.
Yeah.
Cons.
Getaway Car.
Getaway Car. That's a good one. Mine's All Too Well.
I don't know that one.
Oh, that's the one about Jake Gyllenhaal.
I get it. Did we meet him?
Yeah, super nice guy.
Really?
Yeah,
we did.
I mean, him?
Earmuffs, Taylor, but
yeah,
it was at a Headstrong thing.
Yeah,
did we?
He was like
the guy who started Headstrong.
Yeah, when we got the Moral Courage Award, he was there talking.
Oh,
Steph Myers
was
the
hitting
host.
on me all night,
wasn't he?
I was like, this is wildly inappropriate, Jake.
All right, and I'm sorry. Last thing, it's serious. It is September 11th, and obviously that date still hits hard for us, for a lot of people. Completely changed the trajectory of our lives and many lives. And we have colleagues that have written about it, have talked about it, specifically Large and Annie. But today, for the first time ever, I'm pretty sure it was the first time ever, Smitty wrote a blog, and it went out while the yak was on Kate. So I don't know that you've had a chance to write about it. And I don't think I'm spoiling anything because it's on the blog, but Smitty's wife, her father was one of the pilots on one of the planes that hit one of the towers.
You guys didn't know that?
I knew that. I knew that.
No,
I
knew that.
I had no idea.
I knew that.
He was a football player. I don't know if he was the quarterback, but he might have been
quarterback at Westchester University.
And he has a statue there. And we've gone to every time I've gone with because my dad went there and we always stop by the statue and pay our respects.
I had no idea.
Well, anyway, I really encourage everybody, if you haven't already, go to the barstoolsports.com blog, read the article that Smitty wrote about his wife's father, the tie-in to Bruce Springsteen, and a moment they had recently at a Bruce Springsteen concert. It was just a really moving blog that I just, it's crazy that it's 23 years later and it still hits very hard. And certainly for families like that, immensely more than others. But I just thought it was unbelievable blog.
Have you met her?
Yeah.
She's like one of the loveliest, kindest, most intelligent. And I think it puts it in perspective now too. Like, oh, well, it's been so long now. Well, now they have young kids who didn't get to meet their grandfather. Now, like for some people, it never gets easier. It just changes. And
yeah. And I think that's something like my older kid has said for a long time, like, I can't wait to see you as a granddad. Like, you're going to be such a great granddad. And being robbed of those memories is like, that sting never goes away.
Yeah. So definitely check. There's a lot of blogs. Go on the barstoolsports.com website. Largest blog, Smitty's blog. They retell the story of the man in the red bandana every year, and just a lot of really beautiful stories that are up.
Katie?
I don't really have anything. Just
do the that was pretty good harmony by us there. We matched tones.
Yeah. No, I don't have anything too much. We go into the VA a lot still, doing my PT and such. And I
think that's great, by the way, that you've stuck with it.
It's starting to make a difference, I think, a little bit here and there. And
I'm happy to hear that.
Cons and I were texting back and forth about the VA where he's at is really depressing, the West Orange VA. I'll call him out. And I've been to that one too. And it's like super depressing and a bad vibe and blah, blah. And if I had only known that, I'd be sitting here being like, oh, the VA sucks, blah, blah. Being at a good VA is so awesome. It really makes a difference.
Shout out Heinz VA here.
I know the VA is not perfect for lots of, look at the one out in LA that just got it ripped a new asshole, as they should. Anyways, I just am so grateful for the people that work there. They work so hard at this Chicago VA to make it like a positive environment for everybody there. And it doesn't go unnoticed. And I just think it's super cool. So yeah, I don't know. Just wanted to say that.
But I mean, I would say to veterans and just encourage them, if you've never been to VA, go, because you might get one of those VAs. Because I think more so than not, they're mostly good like that.
Just go sign up so your family has the benefit whenever you die. You're gonna die.
Just go sign up.
Like, if you're listening to this show, you're gonna die at some point. Make sure that you go down to the VA and make it.
Nobody's getting out of here alive.
Nobody. Ain't nobody Elisha. Ain't nobody Jesus in this bitch.
Wow.
Or Elijah. Yeah.
Chaps, do you have anything?
No, I don't. My golf game was bad. Had a coach come in. Now my golf game's better again.
Brooks Koepka was here the other day with Taylor Gooch. You know me, I'm a big golf head.
Yeah.
Did you have to resist being like, hey guys, come over and look at me hit this ball? Did you have
I did not. No.
No? Okay.
And in fact, if they'd have been like, hey dude, you want to go over and show us how you can hit this ball? I'd have been like, I have diarrhea.
Okay.
I don't want to hit. I don't like to hit. I don't want to do that.
Okay.
I don't want to. And it's like, I don't want to go shoot. I'm a good shot. I don't want to go shoot in front of Carlos Hathcock. I don't want to do that.
That's fair enough.
I don't want to do something that if I don't want to go drive a car with Dale Earnhardt Jr.
I don't want to go get a DUI with Lance Corporal Schmuckatelli.
Yeah.
He's better at it.
I thought you were going to say Sean Spicer.
Or Sean Spicer.
Yeah.
Okay, what'd you think of Koepka?
I have this idea in my head of golfers because my best friend in middle school's dad was the local golf pro, and he sucked. And he had this golf green on their front lawn that he would be out in the evenings, like cutting it with scissors, and he'd be like, "Get off my car! Nobody touch!" He was like such a dickhead. This guy sucked. Anyways, I thought all golfers were like that. I said, "Oh, every golfer is this sucky dad." And then
there was a time when the golf culture was largely a country club culture. And obviously, if you belong to a country club, if you want to just generalize, people can be kind of douchey. And then I think with Tiger Woods and like our generation chaps and younger, more guys have come along where it's become more of a mainstream sport. So you get a lot more normal people now, I think.
I think once Tiger Woods was like, you can play golf and have sex.
Mhm.
People were like, what?
Mhm.
What?
Once that one guy, because that was the first pro golfer ever to cheat on their spouse. Did you know that?
Which
Yeah.
was shocking. And two, like Dan Daly had been trying for a long time to get everybody on board of the cool smoker. The cool
You mean John
golfer.
Daly?
Yeah. Oh, Dan Daly. Who's Dan Daly?
He's the Medal of Honor
Medal
recipient.
of Honor recipient 2 times. Him and Smedley Butler.
Yeah. Kate, way to go. I think that's where we're ending the show. That's 2 things today, Kate.
Anyways, they were cool. I was shocked. They were like so down to earth and nice there.
Kate, drop a Semper Fi and some Dan Daly knowledge on your fucking asses. Who would have thought it? Episode
Just
628.
Johnson,
We're still what year?
1952.
Nope. 12. 1912. All right, we'll see you guys next week. Sound the retreat.